Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, not only do we have Agnes Vivarelli, which of course you're quite accustomed to, but we have pulled in this other individual. We had to go all the way to Germany.
Hello, everybody.
Another person of equal. Yes, this gentleman right here, ladies and gentlemen. Tarkan is amazing. I've had a chance to chit chat with this guy. It's my first time meeting him, and I love this dude. So anyway, of course, 3 organic nuts today. We found another one.
My first time meeting Dan, too, ironically. That's quite
Yep.
a coincidence.
It's funny how that works, right? My first time meeting you, your oddly first time meeting me. It was
I love
weird.
synchronicity like that. That's awesome.
I hate when I've met people, but I didn't know I met them, and then they've already met me,
Yes.
and now it's confusing, and you're like, what the hell? Anyway, we are talking actually about our 5 tips to manifesting, I believe, right?
That's the homework assignment.
5.
Yes.
And I believe Tarkan, being a very efficient individual, has put together a mighty list, a list that's proud. We might go past 5.
I said 12, but I think it's only 11 actually, so I have to disappoint. But it's
like it's been lying to us.
they're not even that great. But we'll do 5. But I think you should start off on
Okay.
with 5. Yeah.
All right.
So,
and please interrupt whenever you want.
Oh, I'm drinking wine. I hope that's okay. Oh, who cares,
Yeah,
right?
no.
We're all adults.
Hello.
Number 1, before you do anything.
Of course, you don't need to know what time it is where I'm at drinking beer, but
In the morning.
you guys are in a better place.
We're actually all in the same house, different rooms.
I was wondering where those noises were coming from.
You just flushed the toilet. Someone did.
Anyway, Sonia, sorry.
Okay, so before you do anything, any tip, you've got to clear, I think, the old stuff. So my first manifesting tip would be Ho'oponopono to clear any old stuff. Because if you put techniques over top of stuff you still got brewing, it kind of doesn't really work because you still default back to your old, usually childhood stuff. So I think number 1, to clear old stuff when it comes up around money, work, relationships, use the Ho'opono prayer. You're dissolving the parts of you that created that situation. Tip number 1. Tip number 2, meditation to calm your thoughts and to let go and to focus on your desires. You have to learn to get calm, mentally first, then emotionally. It has to be, if you're going to do any imaginal scenes, you got to slow this down. You got to go into slow-mo. Yeah. So I would say number 2, meditation to learn to calm the mind. Number 3, affirmations. Then when your mind is calm, you can go on to do affirming. Now, you're affirming all day, every day anyway, but this is more deliberate affirming. Now, affirmations to confirm and affirm your desires and to help you control and harness and move you towards what you want. Now, I think affirming thank you, very simple affirmation. You repeat thank you, and you get into the feeling of gratitude. So affirmation, using the word thank you, is a simple gratitude. And
I am affirmations.
And I am.
I ams are the strongest thing you can say, of course.
Exactly. And just that thing like Tarkan and I were talking briefly before about that whole thing of being dissatisfied. If you're dissatisfied, that goes out as a projection and gets photocopied, comes back, and you're not going to attract satisfactory or satisfaction in any area if your big projection is dissatisfaction all the time. They don't go together as magnets. So I think practicing the simple words, thank you, repetitively, I use that a lot. I think it's really simple. You don't have to go searching for a whole long affirmation. It's short, simple, and sweet. I think it's great. And it's part of the Ho'oponopono prayer.
I was just going to say that it is. It's a powerful part of that, actually.
Yeah.
I love Ho'opono. Hope I can't say it, but I love it.
Ho'oponopono.
It just rolls off your tongue, right? Just like
Ho'opono.
Hopo for short.
Hopo. Let's just call it Hopo. I love
Hopo. Okay, number 4, scripting.
Scripting's awesome. Scripting is very powerful. I want to stop right here real quick because I think it's worth this quick derail. Scripting, I think, and then by the way, I've accidentally manifested all sorts of crazy stuff scripting. Scripting is fun, but if you don't think out your your thing enough. Sometimes I feel like scripting, oftentimes we get a little short-sighted, and I don't mean this in a negative way. I'm saying it's an extremely powerful tool.
Yeah.
When you do it, I think it's also very good to really try to come at it from a big picture and really try to think of all the things that you really, really desire or really, really want in a relationship in life. Because
so you're getting rough draft results because you got a rough draft. It's like
there you go.
First
rough draft results. I like that.
You're getting rough draft results. Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, you need to refine it. You need to go back to it, do it daily.
Yeah, that's right.
So, anyways.
Well, and I think scripting fits in very much with living in the end. Your script is a living in the end technique.
Yes.
Living from what you want, which is,
and it's a physical embodiment of that. It's not just in your mind. It's not just a thought. There's a physical piece of something that shows this reality that you were talking about. I think it's very powerful. I
do too. And for people that struggle, people that struggle with imagining, it's a good stepping stone to imagining, because you write your script. I'm happy and grateful now that you write it in present tense. And then what you can do is you spend 30 minutes writing it the first time. You might write your health, your relationships, your money, your work. You write a little bit for each thing. And then what you do is you read it every night before sleep. So then when you go to try and imagine, you've already just read this. So it helps you, if you're not using someone's guided meditation or with imaginal scenes, it helps you because you've got the little nuggets within it of visual scenes or things you want to hear or whatever it is, to take you pull that into when you shut your eyes and start imagining. So it's here's an interesting.
Yeah, go ahead. Here's a question I actually think is an interesting question about that. So visualizing and scripting, do they amount to the same thing? Are they just sort of using different techniques to really do the same thing? In other words, you want to get to a feeling place in both your visualizations and in your scripting. So maybe some people just find it easier to write something down. Like I said earlier, I'm a kind of a list maker.
Yes.
I focus better when I'm writing something down than if I'm just sitting and closing my eyes. I kind of go all over the place. But and some people find writing things down, a real pain in the neck. So what do you is it the same thing, or is it just a matter of technique? What do you think should they be done together? Should both be done, or could you just pick one or the other and say, I just like to script rather than visualize? Or
I think a lot of people struggle concentrating and focusing. I hear this again and again and again. So I think when
what were we talking about?
You're fired.
Sorry.
You wait. I'm coming into the other room and I'm going to get you in a minute.
He's already in the wrong meeting. For God's sakes. Fire this guy.
No, but I think scripting, if you're not a good focuser and your concentration's not good, it's easier to write and follow and read than get your mind to follow an imaginal scene. So I think scripting is kind of the kindergarten of techniques. I think imagining, visualizing specific things, because it requires more concentration and more focus, is kind of when you're going, what's primary school, or it's a little bit more elementary. You're moving into a slightly more difficult, I think, technique because it requires concentration.
Is it more effective then?
For me, yes.
No. Okay.
Because if I'm walking 3D through an amazing house I want to buy, and I can see the wooden floor and I can hear the clicking of my shoes on the wooden floor, and I can open the window and feel the wind on my face, and then I can jump on the bed and start jumping on the bed like I did when I was a kid. That has feelings that just rise up easily. If I read a script, I get, oh, that's nice, but I'm not in it.
Yeah, right.
In the same way.
The caveat I want to add, and I agree, but I guess slightly disagree in that to me, it's the act of writing that is the powerful part.
Okay, not the rereading it.
You are imagining and visualizing, and then you're making it physical, and that I think is where it is powerful. Now, I agree. I think writing something and then just reading it ad nauseum, I think it's kind of like affirmations. If I've got some fear or self-love issue that is within me and it keeps popping up and I keep doing affirmations to try to push it back down, not doing anything. So I think there's times where just saying words, it's just like a hocus pocus, alakazam. But no, it doesn't do crap. I mean, come on now. That's not how manifesting works. It's not the words. And to Tarkan's point, it's the feelings. It's getting yourself to that place where that feeling must be made manifest, as Goddard talks about, right? The conscious and the subconscious. The conscious kind of looks around and goes, hey, look at all this shiny, sparkly stuff. Yay, I love it. And I want more of this. That makes me happy. And then the subconscious is like, oh, okay, you feel happy. Let's make more of this.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely for me the case too. If I script, I write something down, I don't necessarily reread it. I think that if I get the benefit out of it, of the excitement of it and the thing welling up in me, it's almost like getting that release with it, getting that out there. And then sometimes, even if I don't reread it, I can revisit that more easily in my mind just from having written it down initially.
That's how it is with me. And I think it's just, like I've said before, and Agnes, this to your point, I mean, it works really well for you visualizing. Some people maybe aren't as gifted at it or need a nudge or help to get to that visual. Like if they sit there and just think like, I'm trying to imagine, it doesn't work. But if you say, hey, all right, do me a favor. I want you to write a creative story about you meeting your person, right? Then they'll be like, okay. And and they'll go off. They can do that. No problem.
Exactly.
But you just did what I asked you to do. Yeah, but you asked differently this time.
Exactly.
And so if it works for you, do it.
Different for
different
people.
Do it. And if it ever stops working, get rid of it immediately.
Yeah.
And don't, I get people going to me, I've been doing this every day and visualizing and doing this for hours or 30 minutes and it's not getting me anywhere. It's like, well, how do you feel when you do it? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you getting up like you're treating it like you got to go to work or you got to do the dishes? That's not going to be effective. Just stop. You give yourself permission to stop at that point because it's only going to, I think it's going to backfire really in the end.
Well, it doesn't.
And it does. It depends. I think it depends on how you're coming in.
Yeah.
I think 100% right.
Although I like that. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I think it's how you come at it, right? Like, I think it's your energy while you're trying to manifest this or create this. Like if you're coming at it from a very frustrated, desperate, like Agnes and I for sure have talked a lot about self-love. And I mean, obviously it's key. When you're coming at it from this needy sort of bad place, it's not going to manifest like you want it to. When you're coming at it from God, I just love thinking about him. I just love knowing.
Right. It feels good. It
such
feels
a
relaxing.
Different vibe. It's not, I don't know if it's the energy you're sending out. I don't know, like some people may not like it when I talk about that crap, but it's like, you're in a better place, man, no matter what. So that feeling tends to manifest a better reality for you.
That's the point. That's the whole point right there. Yeah. Although I like that house that you described, Agnes. I want to say that.
Yeah, it's getting those details of
that's what
just those little details, the sun on your face, the wind in your hair, the creak of the window as you put it out, or the click of the heels. Because I think, so often you've got floorboards, that's what you hear. So it's inserting those other senses, not just the visual, the audio, the smell of the wood, the smell of the fireplace, the burnt bits of wood that never finished burning, all those things, depending on what means something to you, you add in those really kind of quirky detail. I think the detail that means something to you, then that's when it comes more alive for you.
I'm seeing a pot of stew on the stove.
Yes.
Simmering away.
Yes, that's right.
When you walk into the house. Doesn't it sound so wonderful?
What's
for dinner, honey?
Yeah.
There's a dwarf in the corner wearing a dress. No,
you have dwarfs in your
There's dwarfs all over my video.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's dwarfs about.
I can't get rid of them. They eat all my food. They make a mess.
At least 7 of them always. Makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we're gonna get in trouble. We're gonna get in trouble for this.
Hopefully, that's the plan.
Well, I don't care anymore. I'm getting started here. Let's make a night of it. Come on.
That's a beautiful wine glass too. And anyway,
thank you. Yes.
You can tell he's in Europe. The European
just like they got children. He's got children in the backyard drinking wine right now. Like here in the States, they're like, "What? No!"
I didn't want him to make
grape juice. So. It's grape juice, people.
That's right. It's just grape juice. No,
okay, number 5, which is
Wow.
the final tip: imagining. So, to draw forth wanted things, it's a focus-based universe. So, if you are focused in imagination, you just imagine And like you said, Dan, you imagine to evoke living from it, which comes from Neville. You're not thinking, I'm here, the thing I want's over there. You live from it by activating first the imaginal scene, then it brings up and rises up the feeling. Like just talking about the house, you know, if you're walking through a 3D house that you really want, I mean, it's so easy to connect with the feeling. You don't have to say, oh, I'm going to think these thoughts and then I'm going to get a feeling. Right. The feeling's instantaneous.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to struggle for it.
No.
The thought. It should come to you naturally. It should be organic.
Yeah.
Or it can build, I guess. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking like that one of the scenes I've had fun with is my dream house. And like I kind of start from the master bedroom, oddly. And so I've got like it mapped out. I know where the walk-in closet is. I know where right? Like I've got the room, maybe the little reading area possibly. And then out of the door, I've managed to get down the hallway. Or it's actually not really a hall. It's kind of an open. Anyway, right? But it's like as you start building that vision, sometimes it kind of takes on a life of its own.
Yep.
Too. And in the case of maybe something that you don't have defined yet, if it's a specific person, yes, it's obviously very easy. If it's a house you've walked into, yes, it's very easy to 3D imagine it. If it's imagining your dream, sometimes it's fun to start building it room by room or piece by piece. Yes. Or from the point of the vantage point that you want to start at. Like could be the front door, could be the garage. I don't know.
So maybe you come up with things that you don't even realize you wanted in there.
Yeah.
Through the process of doing this.
Walk through it again one day after you're like, I've been through this made up room 15 times, but all of a sudden there's different furniture this time and I like it. Right? True. Like, I'm there with you.
So much of this too that I like to stress is this: it's gaining clarity. A lot of these exercises and techniques do. So I find a lot of people come and I want this, I want my guy back, I want my gal back. It's like, well, have you thought about what exactly that looks like? What is it you want exactly? Do you want a text message from them? Do you want their attention, their undivided, their undying love and devotion? What does that look like? What does that day to day? What does that really look like? I mean, no relationship is like that, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to be married? What kind of house do you want to live in? What are you guys going to do every day? I mean, people don't think enough about this stuff. They just kind of go, oh, all I know is I want something that I don't have right now. Whatever that thing is, I need it to come in and fill this hole that I see, void. This void I seem to be feeling. So clarity and detail are, and I think, visualizing the way you described, Agnes, is very important for maybe even gaining clarity in that sense, fill in the details. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. I remember I was doing this house one and I remember this, the bathroom, and the bath was in the middle of the room because I thought, being a female, it's so annoying trying to clean behind the bath if it's a freestanding one. It's really annoying.
Yeah,
so I thought, I want this thing away from the wall. It's in the middle of the room, and the bottom of the bath looks out these bifold doors. You pull them open, and there's some Australian eucalyptus trees, with a little koala hanging in there or something. But I remember opening these.
Probably a deadly spider or something, right?
Deadly spider,
or
giant,
something.
One of those giant.
2 seconds.
And you're
looking
laying
at you,
in the bath, totally vulnerable.
Yeah. So that's really a thing, isn't it? I'm staying at my mom's house right now. She always complains she doesn't have a hanging toilet because she can't clean under the toilet.
Yeah,
if she had a hanging toilet, she could clean under.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. So I was thinking the freestanding bath. And I'm then, I remember just standing, when I first started doing this visualization, I'd stand at the bathroom door and I would scan around the room like that, panoramic view.
Yeah.
So I was standing there and I saw the sink, I saw the toilet, and then there was the big bifold doors. And what I would do is I would slide into the bath and I'd feel the really warm summer evening wind coming in. And then it just, all of a sudden, there was one of those things that hangs across the bath. It just appeared. I didn't visualize it. It was like, it'd be nice to have a glass of wine while I'm in the bath, but I need to put it somewhere. So it's like this wooden thing appeared. I had my soap, I had my glass of wine, and I had, my little shortbread biscuits. And I thought, that just appeared, like, I don't know why it was shortbread. It's not even something that I eat that often, but it was just, that was what showed up. So your detail
music in the background. I'm there.
It shows up. It fills in.
Yeah. Filling in the grid. That's what Abraham talks about.
Well, it's like, in a lot of cases, like for a room, like sometimes it's just, it may not be used daily, but it's got those special occasions, those special moments, and that's what that's for. Right. And so, seeing that unique time and really, explore. I love that. I think that's one of the most important things is not just imagining it and all that, but sometimes it's the evolution of the imagination or the imaginary scene. It's
right.
That brings about like an emotional response sometimes that is just like, wow, I don't know where that came from. Didn't know why I hadn't thought of that yet, but so glad I did.
There's just hyperlinks. It's like a holodeck, just kind of go, computer, I need somewhere to put my biscuits, and boom, it pops up, right? So the computer takes care of it for you.
It's like, all right,
it's already out
your
there.
Wine. And it's like,
everything you need is already out there. Right.
Yeah,
everything you want and need is already there. You just need to think of it. You just need to bring it in. Yeah, there it is. Right. Fantastic. Every possibility exists. All right.
Exactly.
It does. And that's the thing. You know what? And the fact that you said that, I don't know if that's on your list, but I'm just mine right now. But every possibility exists. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand about manifesting. They get hung up on little details that exist maybe in your current world. Mm-hmm. But you're manifesting a reality that's different than your current world. So focusing on what's currently happening isn't what you're trying to right? It doesn't work. So you're where you're trying to go. That possibility exists somewhere.
That's right. And people think they're stuck. Well, no, I interrupted, but they think they're stuck. And what's happening is they're actually manifesting the same reality over and over and over again. It feels like a loop, but really it's like, no, you can stop that. You can actually put an end to that. This is a different reality than that. It feels like the same thing. Maybe the same thing happened as yesterday, today, but you can put an end to that. That's not the same manifestation over and over. It's actually different manifestations of the same thing.
Yes.
No, okay. I think that your tomorrow's made up of what you're thinking about right now. I mean, that's if you want to change tomorrow, then think of something different right now and
that's right.
Be amazed. Watch what happens. I dare you. Like, that's what I love saying to people. It's like, prove me wrong. Like, think about something specific. Do something mundane. Let's start easy. Come on now for those naysayers out there. But it's like, try it. Like, you'd be surprised if you start focusing on a certain thing and then see what happens over the next day or two. That thing will show up in your life in some weird way. It'll trip you out.
I did the quarter experiment. I talked about that in a video recently. I don't know if you heard about it. You just imagine holding a quarter every day for a couple minutes and you start finding quarters everywhere. Quarters appear on television. People talk about quarters. And, I was saying to the video, to those of you who don't live in the States, you maybe don't even know what a quarter looks like, United States $quarter. And there was a woman, I think in Belgium or somewhere, said, I actually did this. I just looked at a picture of a quarter and my cousin or my daughter brought me a whole bunch of US quarters that she got somewhere. So it works. It absolutely works. No matter where you are.
In other parts of the world, they're like, what do I want with this stupid thing? Like,
where's the laundry machine?
Across the water. It's like a stone. They're fun.
They're practically worthless in the United States, except for doing laundry.
Laundry.
Our poor monetary system.
Bring a sack of them to the bank. They love it.
Right. Hey, can I get a pack of gum? Right? Like,
can I get 100 for this?
Yeah, please. Hell no, I'm not rolling them. No, you roll them.
Why am I supposed to? I mean roll.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that part.
Roll them across the counter if you want. Anyway.
So that's it. Mine are done.
I love it. Okay.
You lucked
it's
out.
my turn? It's my turn.
I would say it's your turn. Yeah, I've maybe got one or two.
My presentation.
You got a list.
Well, you know what? I have 11, but this is really just a list of me brainstorming. But on the top of my list right now is I'm looking at segment intending. Now, this is an Abraham Hicks technique.
Yeah.
Basically, what it comes down to is you divide your day up into segments, right? There's your work segment, there's your going to sleep segment, there's your breakfast segment, and for each of those segments of your day, of your experience, you intend something. You basically are just, I'm going to use an example. Actually, there's a funny story attached to this, a personal story, because I started practicing this just when I was going out at night or when I was getting up in the morning, like I said, but I went out for a couple of beers with a friend. This was about maybe a year and a half ago. And before I left, I said, I'd like to, my intention tonight is to meet a nice young woman. I want to get a date. I want to be on a date with a nice, beautiful young woman. And I went and met up with my friend, and he introduced his new girlfriend to me. And he kind of motioned to me, like behind me, and I look, and there's a girl standing there, all dressed up to the nines like this, all expectantly. And I introduced myself, and she sat down, and we had a nice conversation, and we ended up going somewhere else together. And somewhere in the middle of the night, she kept looking at her phone, and she was looking at me, and she kept looking at her phone, and she said, you're not the right date. You're not the right guy. And, you know, I was kind of talking and I kept hearing her say this. And so the first few times she said it, it's kind of rolled over my head. And then suddenly I said, wait a minute, what are you saying? And she said, this is the wrong day, or this is not right. You look just like him. You look just like him. And I said, are you trying to tell me that you were meeting a Tinder date tonight and you thought I was him? And she said, yes, you look exactly like him. And he's texting me right now. And, you know,
how did you guess Tinder out of all things? That's awesome.
Because that's a thing where I live. I mean, it's just, and you know, I go to this watering hole a couple times a week. I always see people waiting for their Tinder dates over there. It's actually fun to watch.
Found on Tinder.
It's only found on Tinder, apparently. But yeah,
left or right. I forget which one's the right way.
Yeah, I forgot. You know, people are just going to do this to their forehead. You know, to their forehead eventually.
Why can't I make you smaller? Why?
Not this one. No. But yeah, you know, somewhere in the end of the middle of the night, she said, you know, you ended up being the right date after all. And we ended up seeing each other for a few months after that. But that's the point I'm telling that story, and it's a funny story. But that was the result of a segment intention, right? So that was I just set that intention for the evening. I want the evening to go this way. I want to have this experience tonight. Today at work, I want to have this experience. Today at work, I want to have, you know, and so as you do that, I think it's a great way to kind of build up your manifesting muscle and to sort of practice focusing on the moment too. I think it's actually a great exercise. So I've used it to quite a bit of success there, as you can tell from that story. So I think that's a great one.
One of my favorite things about that particular technique, without a doubt, and I'm going to use this in relation to manifesting a specific person, because you and I all get those questions so often, but this, keeping that in mind, yes, you maybe have a specific someone in mind. What you're talking about is like throwing hey, let's have something interesting happen today. Hey, let's have something cool show me today. Like you're getting yourself in the moment, and you can still have these things apply towards your ultimate manifestation. Like, hey, show me something cool today that's gonna, you know, that's showing me I'm on my way, maybe, or whatever, right? Like,
I think it will automatically lead you on your way because you're following your highest excitement. This is I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bashar. That's what he always says.
Yeah, right? Bashar's pretty cool. I like that guy.
If you follow your highest excitement, you just keep doing that in every moment, it will actually lead you on your path towards whatever it is that you wanted. It just automatically, that is your path. Your path is simply that.
The thing I like about Bashar is he so reminds me of Abraham Hicks. Like, they're very similar personality types. It's kind of funny. It's so I kind of feel like those two people are talking to the same group or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure it's the same. Well, it's all us, isn't it? That's the idea.
Well, there you go.
It's all the same.
Or, some people call us pushed out, but either way.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Nice. That was, I like that segment intention. That's good stuff. So
segment intention.
Work on a segment of your day, you're saying, and then throw some mojo on it, and watch it happen. Stand back.
Absolutely. And each segment, you can divide your day up like that. It's a perfect way. You get into a real nice flow situation that way. I was thinking a lot about Abraham because these are techniques I've used, and I was telling Agnes before you came on that I'm kind of beyond techniques right now. You know, I'm not really, these are things I've used in the past to great success, but I don't really focus that much on techniques anymore. So I had to sort of brainstorm, which is probably why I have 11 items on here. But focus
way
wheel.
More prepared than either of us.
I'm German. I can't help. So focus wheel. Focus wheel is another Abraham technique. You guys have probably used, but I use focus lists. I don't like the wheel. But the idea is to kind of place what you state what you want at the top, and then look for the evidence of that as you kind of work your way down the list. You kind of go, well, they're not contacting me. We haven't spoken in many months. I would like there to be more contacts, more text messages from them. And then you look for evidence that this is kind of, well, you know what? It's happened before, so it can happen again, yada, yada. You kind of list the next thing, right? Which could be like, well, I did, they liked something I posted on Facebook, so that's a good thing. You think of all the signs that could support that idea. And as you list more and more, it kind of gets the dominoes going. And you find that you have more reasons to actually believe that something is possible than you have reasons to believe that it's not possible. I think that's the major point of that exercise. I've used that to great success in terms of just really raising my vibration. There's some people out there. How dare you?
Your energy? Because they don't like it.
I'm sorry. Either. That's right. I'm sorry. Energy. Let's use
good vibrations. I got the Beach Boys song stuck in my head.
Yeah. But you know, the idea is to really raise your emotional state, right?
To get you to feel better towards this thing, like gratitude or whatever.
It really is enough. It really is enough. So often it is enough. There's really no need to do, oodles of things and all these techniques. Like I said, affirmations, I always tell people this, they're just there for your purposes. They don't make something happen on their own. They're not like magic words that you say and then boom, right? Or like a long way. People think, well, I've done these affirmations and nothing's happened. Well, what are you feeling when you're saying them? Are you understanding that it's just for you, in order to get you up to a level of believing, of being, of raising your vibration? Yeah, I'm going to say it again.
I heard it. I heard it a second time. That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. All right. So we got focus wheel. I like that one. We're running up to it.
Let's make a list, because the wheel, I can't write that.
No, I got you. Makes sense.
That's
You can do like a collage too. Those kind of work. Like, it just depends how you. But it's the idea of putting a place where you can focus on all the stuff, right? Yeah, works.
Speaking of lists, being specific and making specific lists, I think that's a brilliant technique. That's one I like to do. I like to make lists. Nice. But we talked about this earlier. So many people don't have any idea of what they really want, and I tell people this a lot. You're coming with questions about this and that. But what is it you really want? Have you really thought about what you want? Have you really imagined what it would be like if you got the thing that you wanted? What if they suddenly texted you today? How would you react? What would you say? And is that going to be enough? So you have a text conversation for an hour, and then what happens? Maybe a week goes by, a month goes by, and then what? You have another one. They text you again. What's your ultimate goal here? But what it really comes down to, though.
Well, I was going to say, I think a lot of people end up being a little short-sighted, and to your point, completely agree. I think it helps a lot to have a little more depth in what you're trying to manifest, unless literally you're just trying to manifest a text message from someone. Otherwise, let's try to get further past the communication.
Instant gratification is what it is. It's that fix. So you want the fix right now, but you're going to want another fix. You're going to want another hit down the road. Yeah. So what's the ultimate vision that you're after? What is it really about? How do you want to feel? And that's what it comes down to. So I think clarity.
And it's realistic, I guess, right? If I constantly want, maybe I'm someone and I want this person I'm interested in, I want them to constantly reaffirm that happy button for me, right? Like,
yes, it's their job. It's their job to make it happen.
And is that legitimate? Because if that's really what you're trying to manifest, it's probably not going to work out well, or I guarantee it's not going to be a healthy relationship. I mean,
it's not going to be healthy. You'll both be miserable in it. I anticipate.
And you might find someone to be miserable with you. I'm not saying you can't manifest that, but I'm saying is that really the best for both parties? If you will?
No, absolutely not. No, your happiness is always first and foremost your responsibility.
Tarkan, that's what I think too. Your happiness is what I was after.
Well, I was actually saying. Wait a minute. Okay,
pointing at you.
I'm loving this. I haven't heard from Agnes in a while. Is she still there?
No, she's like, I don't know. I'm like, is this thing on? Is that Agnes?
Oh, I hear her laughing.
I'm listening.
How many was that? How many was that?
That was 3. You're on 3.
3. Thank God. Okay, I got 2 more.
Not that I'm counting.
Not yet. You're counting. Oh, for money. Now this is an interesting one. People sometimes ask me about money, because I guess some people do care still about money more than they do about love.
Not many.
So, every now and then someone's like, could you do a video about money? I'm like, well, we'll see.
You're like 1 out of 1,000 people that actually ask that question.
Maybe if you send me a check, here's my PayPal address. And I'll do a video about
I'll tell you how to manifest money.
Send me how you manifest money.
Manifest money.
There's a thing about objects. There's a thing about people. It's all part of the same energy system, right? And I actually subscribe to the idea that, the book, the bottle, the desk, me, you, we all are part of the same conscious energy. Now, the book and the desk and whatever doesn't have the reasoning ability that we do because we have these meat computers, right? But ultimately, though, there is a conscious awareness even within objects. So money, printed money it's an object, right? There's a way that you should treat money if you want more of it, right? You got to be nice to it. You got to do, this is something I read in a book. I can't remember the book now. I'm always talking about books that I forgot the titles to, and it's terrible. But, you want to, you want to take your money, you want to fold it nicely. You want to get a nice wallet for it. You want to give it a nice, warm, safe place to live in your house. And here's what's going to happen. It's going to feel welcomed in your presence. It's going to keep wanting to come into your environment and into your life and into your possession. So, people, I hate money, or they crumple it up in their pockets. They have their finances are a mess too, right? Their bills are a mess. They're in debt, and they see money and dealing with money as this constant battle, right? Just like with relationships too, it's a battle. I must manifest them back, and they treat it like it's a campaign, like it's a,
And they do that, but you know what? And they look at it. There's wars where I'm at war with love right now.
Yes.
And it's like, and they keep manifesting little weird battles, like I won this one today, and she didn't like me today. It's like,
yeah,
dude,
or
like,
I want
be crazy.
I want her to contact me first. I'm not going to text her.
That's like,
I get that one a lot.
Yeah,
I get a lot of that. Yeah, but but that's it's the mentality and the idea behind it. So if you really want more money to flow more easily into your life, that's an interesting way to look at things, and that's an interesting way to treat anything really that you value. If you want to manifest a new car, start by taking care of the one you have. Start by appreciating the one you have, by loving what you have, by seeing the value in what you have now, and of course that speaks to gratitude, right? So
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. That's great. I like that.
So that's a way to think about money. I wouldn't call it a technique, I suppose. It is sort of a technique.
But it's a technique I think that you can apply not just to money, but to anything, and it is that appreciation. And I think sometimes we'll even go back to the specific person thing, even though money is you've covered it well, but. Yeah. Sometimes we come at it and we're like frustrated with them. Maybe we want them to feel the pain that we feel. Maybe, right? Like there's a lot of weird kind of thoughts. And I don't mean weird as in wrong. I just mean like if you think about what love would do, like that's not it. Love wouldn't do that. Love's not trying to like make sure you feel pain too. That's no. And when we come at things from that, we're not really coming at it like from the gratitude or loving the money or respecting this relationship, like really loving what it is that you're after. You're angry with it. And
you're angry, you're worried about it, you're scared of it.
You can't do that. You've got to have that more accepting, loving, attractive kind of feeling about it. And things
I've repelled money.
Open up a lot more.
I've repelled money in my life just because I have fear of it. And I grew up with that fear of it. I was raised around people who actually were not that badly off, but they in their childhood had been badly off. So they brought this fear of money into my experience being a child. And I would have money and I would spend it frivolously. And it's almost the psychology behind that is I'm so scared of it that I'm actually getting rid of it as quickly as possible.
Right. Yeah,
get this away from it's like a hot
get it away from me because it's not it's going to cause problems, right? Like
that's right. So it's the fear of it too, So yes, that's a powerful, different way to start looking at things like money, or you can apply that to anything that you desire really you want to manifest. So I think that's 5. Is that 5? I lost count.
Because I know we're running up against a hard time here. I'm gonna throw out one. You touched upon it actually, and it was funny because you actually said it, and I've got it written like right here. It's in stars around it. And I wasn't meaning to point with the middle finger like I just did. That's so rude, right? I should never do that.
That means hello around here. Yeah,
it does. Oh no,
no, it's like we're just waving it.
It's funny. I had German soccer players stay at my house when I was very young, and I learned I know how to say the F word in German. I know how to say so awesome.
You have to. Yeah, you got to know.
You haven't learned how to say those words. What's the point of learning the language? Come on.
That's right, damn it.
What do you want? That is one of the key questions. Like if I was to give anyone, like set them down and say, all right, you want some guidance on manifesting?
Yeah.
This sounds crazy, but a lot of people really don't realize what it is that they actually want.
They have no idea.
No. And sometimes it's like, I want to be with Brad. What is it about Brad that you want? I don't know. He won't pay attention to me. Like, right? Like, what is it? Because the guy doesn't give you the time of day. I don't know what it, right? Like he's cute or he posted something. I don't know. So again, understanding why we're pursuing what we're pursuing, what we actually want in life, trying to understand what really makes us tick is going to make you a far more powerful manifester because you're going to focus on things that are going in the direction that your life is going. And when you do that, when you're not constantly fighting the flow, I think Hicks talks a lot about going with the flow and the vortex.
Going downstream.
Constantly trying to go upstream with everything. It's exhausting. And when you finally let go of all that and finally just start giving into the fact that, I'm going to get what I want instead of trying to. So that for me is the big key is really, and by the way, is probably the one I'm most weak on myself is trying to really know what do I want? Like, what do I really want in life? Like I love doing things, but it's like, what really makes me tick? What can I make an income off? What can I, right? Like it's a deeper question that I think a lot of us don't spend enough time thinking about. So
and you're right about that. And I think people though tend to bring it. The big clue is, tell me 3 things you love about Brad right now. Boom, go. And it's either, I don't know.
He's with Angelina Jolie.
You can't even tell me one thing, right? Yes.
Funny.
He's got
we're talking Brad Pitt.
He's dreamy. He's got the dreaminess. Yeah.
He's
but
so
they don't know. They don't know, or they'll go, well, he makes me feel this way. He makes me feel that way. And there's your clue right there. Aha. Anything that you want it only because of how you anticipate you're going to feel when you have it.
Yep.
And that's the root of where you need to get at to get clarity. How do you want to feel in any of these situations?
Yeah.
And how can you feel that way now? Right.
So hopefully we gave everyone a really awesome set of tidbits and facts to go by. Right?
I've got another 10 minutes.
I know.
I've just extended another 10 minutes. So if you want to
we don't want to.
Nice.
go ahead. Keep going.
Nice.
I'll do this when I gotta go.
To wind this whole thing down. Now all of a sudden
we were saying goodbye. And now we got to go another 10 minutes.
I sent a quick email because I thought, look, we need to have another 10 minutes.
Like so the only other one.
Okay, so I've got one other one that I'll bring up, and we'll see what we can dig out of this guy. But
they were really good.
All right.
They were really good.
Awesome. One that I think is also
flowing.
Is a key one for, I think, people to pay attention to as far as best practices or good tips to manifesting is actually paying attention to the things that scare us. I've done a couple shows on this recently too, and it's just fear generally shows things that we either need to do or things that there are sort of closed off inside of ourselves. Like fear is an indicator of something that needs a little self-love in us or just attention, period. So again, it's one of those things that I actually think if you're feeling that little bit of trepidation or a little bit of I don't want to do that, that's probably a spotlight or a marker of something that really you need to do. You need to face, you need to figure out, you need to come to terms with that. And you will be amazed at what's on the other side of that door. And I think that's
I love that. I actually love that. I think it's like saying push your comfort zone. Which is so important. And I think the whole purpose of us being here and doing this whole charade of living these meat suits is and going through these dramas is to expand. I think that's something Abraham says too. Expansion is the whole point of it because we're part of an expanding universe. We are a part of it. We're actually it as well. So we are expanding. And the only way you can do that is to push yourself past those fears and push your comfort zones. And when you do, you're right. So the moment you do, boom, everything can shift almost immediately, and you'd be just bowled over by how quickly and how deeply.
How often, too, do you see someone that's trying so desperately to keep some manifestation from the past alive? Like, I'm trying to make that happen again, and it's like, but you can't. You can do today's version of it, maybe, but you can't make yesterday happen again.
That relationship is gone. It's going to be a new relationship.
Yep.
That's going to be a brand new relationship. And that's good. Thank God. Who wants that old one?
It truly is. It would be so boringly
It was garbage.
Yeah.
Or it was a bad relationship. Why did it end to begin with? Something was wrong with it. So why do you want to go through that again? Another thing about fear, this is an interesting twist sometimes that I find. I know. I love hearing.
It's like watching.
I know. It's like
getting watching a good TV show, listening to you guys.
I'll sit back.
I love it. I love it. No commercials, not yet.
No commercials.
That's awesome.
But so many people are afraid of their desire too, or afraid of what they want.
Guilty of it even sometimes.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Same here. And the resistance in a weird psychological twisty kind of way. Sometimes they put that there because they are kind of afraid of what would happen if I actually got what I wanted. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, or it's easier to be the victim, if you will, too, right? How many people pull off that kind of victim mentality? So they always keep manifesting people that take advantage of them or keep these differences. Like, but you have to be the victim. You constantly talk about how you are. So it has to keep manifesting. Otherwise,
it feels easier.
A claim. Yeah. Yeah, and that's true.
It's not easier, but it feels easier.
Then it doesn't seem like it's my fault, but it's like, but it still is. Sorry. I hate
when I first learned about this stuff and really did the work on myself or sat down to do the work on myself, it was both liberating and terrifying at the same time, because I realized I've been running on this program my whole life. I can blame my parents, my upbringing, my circumstances, yada, yada. That thing that happened to me when I was 7, You know, that thing that happened to me when I was 16, and it was a nice, comfortable little bubble that I was able to operate in. But now I came to the understanding of, oh, I really do manifest it all. I really do create my own reality. Wow, that's amazing. But that scares the Jesus out of me, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think, right? I think they call that being red pilled, right? I mean, that's pretty much once it happens, you can't
go there's no way out.
To being asleep. It's like, damn, now I get it. Like,
there's the rabbit, there's the caterpillar.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's a little bit annoying at first, but then once you realize how many things you've been told throughout your life that aren't really true, like in the sense of like the way marketing is done, like they tell you what you need, and it's like, no, I decide what I need.
Yeah. How did you? Yes.
Not you telling me what I need. That is not how this works. I know that's how you want it to work, but no.
Right. But it does work, right? It works on us.
With the sleep people, it totally does. I'll tell you this. I don't know if you've ever seen. Oh, yeah, SpongeBob. I don't know if you've ever seen the show. I think I've watched one or two
times.
Yeah. Sit a child down in front of that show. I swear to God, sit a child down with that on the TV and watch how they instantly just go.
Oh man,
it is the weirdest thing, dude. It tripped me out the first couple times I saw it. I'm like, oh my God, and they do. They just, their body language just melts. It's their shoulders, like it's
crazy,
so weird. So
I need to try that out. Here, get me a child.
Yeah. Get me a child now. Sorry, that's
Mark's brother's joke. What did he say? Why a child of 5 could understand this? Quick, fetch me a child of 5.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Groucho Marx joke.
Well, there we go. We end with a little bit of comedy, a little levity.
All right, I love it.
Organic nuts will roll. Tarkan, dude, it's been really, really nice getting to know you and Agnes.
We got to do this again. Yeah.
So chatty, Agnes. I can't keep her quiet.
I know what's going on. She's not.
You guys are like bookends. It's fabulous.
She's falling asleep over there.
She's the namesake. I love it. It's like, yes, thank you, Agnes, for allowing us to be on your platform.
Did she have some of that special toast with the?
We should have. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Hopefully you guys enjoyed us bouncing around on our topics. We certainly had a good time doing it. That's for sure.
I had a blast.
Good. Yes. Good. I like the topic. It's really interesting doing this with you two, because you think, I can't think of any more than this, because you're so used to doing the ones and the things that you do. But just hearing you two talk about different bits and pieces, you just see, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So it reminds you and freshens up your toolbox, so to speak.
Oh yeah, this is great for getting the juices flowing. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing your tools with us, Anya.
Yes, thank you. Next time I'll drink whiskey, and it'll be a whole different kind of.
We will do an R-rated version of this show. I promise that.
Yeah, apple juice.
Apple juice. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Right, guys.
We will put the link down below to the focus wheel, to everything else that was talked about. And
that's right.
There will be links down below for
on that thing you're doing,
Tarkan's channel,
that stuff.
Dan's channel.
That's right.
All other bits of weirdness will go down below as well.
It's great. This video is going to be across 3 channels. 3 channels. Prime time, folks.
Which, by the way, no, I'm gonna tease this a little bit, because Agnes, I've talked about a little bit, and Tarkan, I don't know, you got a good energy, man. We seem to vibe, but there's a way that we literally could do one meeting and we could all live stream simultaneously on our own channels.
I think is that what we're doing right now? We're not live streaming.
No, we're not live streaming.
I know we're recording. Yeah, no. Wait a minute.
No, but yeah, we could do that, and that might be kind of fun, and we could take actual questions from people, and so
I think that would be fantastic.
We're playing around with the idea, people out there, because you guys seem to enjoy us.
Watch the comments on this, guys. Comments.
Yeah,
I know you're gonna love that idea. They're gonna,
if you love the idea. Throw the comments in there. We want to see it.
Yeah,
even if that's all you say. Oh my God, I'd love to see you guys live at the same time. It'd be awesome. So
that's right, and I'm gonna put links to. Well, most of my guys know you, so
Cool.
Yeah. I think so.
Everyone
they know Agnes. Everyone knows Agnes.
Yeah,
that's right. We all know Agnes.
It's like the second name you learn in any language is Agnes.
Agnes.
Everyone knows it. Usually like mom and then Agnes.
Agnes. I have an aunt named Agnes.
Yeah, everyone does.
Agnes. Agnes.
Yeah.
It's the very
and it's like the 90th name. It's like Dan, right? And it's like, why so long? I don't know, but whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's the shortening. My mom complains that Americans shorten names all the time. What is that?
Yeah, well, we can't handle it any longer than that. Our attention spans are about this long. So if your
full name
got
is
more
Danny.
than one syllable, I'm falling asleep halfway through it.
stopping this recording. Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
All right.